Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I am doing well. All right, so we see gold settled at 33.26. So last week, when it hit 34.90 and went all the way back down, we saw the resistance at 3,200. Wasn't going under 3,200. This week, we now see it's not going under 3,300. It hit some 32.90s, but very briefly. And these are people buying the derivative, buying the option, taking delivery. So they go, how do I buy gold? I'm sure they have their ways. They go probably to the mines, probably to other places, but then COMEX, they know they can buy it, but they must take delivery. So they see the price down and go, okay, I'm going to buy. They buy the option and say, I want delivery. So they want the physical gold. So when they see a cheap price like 3,300, now they got their orders in. So that's how the NASDAQ keeps going up. That's why it doesn't just go, or COMEX doesn't just go to zero. There's buyers and buyers and buyers. There's tons of buyers, so they won't let it go. When they see a good price, and so what does that tell you? 3,000 was a good price. 3,200 was a good price. 3,300 is now a good price. Up to 5,000 will be a good price. Silver's still price controlled, and it's much higher in value than they're giving credit for. So you just understand that, and you just keep buying it, and you don't get frustrated. You be patient with it. You go, well, I know it's price fixed, so I know it's worth more. And your real question is, will the price fixing continue, or do we blow it up? And with the new variable of BRICS will buy silver. You buy gold, but there's not enough gold to go around. So you'll start buying silver, and you'll see that price jump very much. So that's all that's happening is you'll buy the silver like you're buying the gold. So we're looking at a picture of gold at 3,300, and silver is going to duplicate it. I don't know about 3,300, but let's just say you'll see a 5 and 2 zeros and a 7 and 2 zeros coming up. It's just too much for BRICS. It's the dollar going out. It's worthless. It's not, well, what can the government do to support the dollar so it doesn't go out? It doesn't work like that. Everybody knows the dollar's worthless. That's why 40 countries joined BRICS. That's why BRICS is getting gold and dumping their dollar. They're not idiots. Putin might be one thing. He's not stupid. He doesn't use dollars. He uses gold. The U.S. has forced BRICS because they said you can't. We don't want to play with you anymore. We don't want to play with you, Russia or China, and you're leaving them no alternative. But okay, well, I guess we can't use dollars. We'll have to use something else. Then the U.S. slaps China in the face with these tariffs. Not a good move. Okay, fine. We don't need to sell to you. We don't want your money. Your money is worthless. This is the part that nobody wants to tell anybody in the U.S. their money's worthless. I mean, this is really the cherry on top. We buy gold and silver because the money is worthless. I mean, it's nice too. If they didn't price fix it, gold and silver would be like Rolexes, $100,000. But they have price fixes, so we take the advantage. Right? We get the advantage. But that's the cherry on top. It's because the dollar is worthless. Oh, how can the dollar go up? We can print as much as we want, Which leads me to my hot tub story. So I'm in the hot tub talking to some idiot. First, the water was cool, so we were talking about that because I don't normally talk to people in the hot tub unless I know them. There's about 5 people that I know that I do talk to. So I'm talking to this guy. Somehow the conversation must have got to stocks or something. I says, well, I don't have any stocks. They're going to crash. Well, I got that. And somehow the tariffs came up. And again, I'm saying, well, the tariffs it's a depression. It's the dollar's already gone. Well, that's your opinion. And I go, no, I don't give opinions. I give facts. None of what I give are opinions. I don't do opinions. I hate that. I hate when Andy Schechtman's on Mark McGuire and well, this could happen and that could happen. And I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear facts. Gold-backed currency from BRICS. COMEX blowing up. Basel III, July 1st. That's what I want to hear. That's why I listen to these people on that. That's why I don't listen to most of them. They don't know, or they give opinions. I don't want their opinion. That's why when I listen to sports radio, it really turns me off because they'll say, well, I think this quarterback will be good. Prime Junior, I don't want to hear your opinion. I don't know who you are. I don't want to hear the guy's opinion. I just want to hear sports, but I don't want to hear. See, I want to hear like facts. I don't want to hear opinions. And then this one radio station. Well, tell me about a time that you watched a game and the guy, it shocked you, or tell me. I'm not interested in a time when somebody else did something, or a big play, or they went to a game and this happened. Who gives a shit? These guys are strangers. I don't know them. I don't have any care about anything that they're going to talk about. The radio hosts are stupid enough, but for sure not these other guys. And then they make the Tigers and Lions out into something they're not. Okay, anyway, so in the hot tub, he ends up being a vampire. He just keeps changing the subject. So we get around to Bitcoin, and I bought 1,000 coins at $750, he says. I don't believe a word he's saying, but okay. I mean, that's what, $700,000? So you have $700,000 and you put it into Bitcoin at 750. Yeah, and I sold 500 of them at 60,000. And I'm just laughing at him like, there's no fucking way. If you actually had that kind of money and you're stupid enough to buy Bitcoin at 750, you just sold it at 5,000. This is where everybody lies, because you can't be this stupid to hold it. Right? You didn't buy it at 750. Nobody knew what it was. It's not real. It's not backed by anything. It's not even a coin. You can't even show it to me. So if you're stupid enough to buy 1,000 coins at 750 and it hits 10,000, you're not selling? Well, it's gonna go up to 100,000. It's going to go from 750 to 100,000. Oh, okay. Good luck with that. I mean, this is the way a normal person who understands anything about risk would have dumped it at 5,000, made your profit and gone on. I don't worry about that. Now with gold, it's different because gold is not an investment like a stock. Gold is not like playing poker. You can lose in poker. You can lose at the casino. The odds are against you. That's why you take your profit there. Same thing in the stock market. It's all fixed. So if you get up and you're lucky enough to make $50 on your shares, you get the hell out. You have to profit take. But what I find is most people are not smart at all in investment, risk, reward. And so they're too stupid to understand that they need to take profit and sell. So he says, well, I sold 500 coins at 60,000. And I'm laughing at the time. Yeah, okay, sure you did. So you still have 500. Yeah, okay. And it's at 100,000 now. Okay, so what are we waiting for to sell these? Well, they said it could go up to 200,000. You mean you don't know why it goes up and down? No, but they say it's going to. Oh, so you listen to they. Oh, so you're an idiot. You have no idea. You're just listening to people. Okay. Then I say, well, you should have a plan. You should know why it goes up and down. No, I'm saying, but it really won't matter. The dollar is going to be worthless. So your Bitcoin will be worthless. So even if you do sell it now and you put the money in your bank, it'll be worthless anyway because the dollar won't have a value. Well, that's your opinion. I go, it's not my opinion. It's a fact. As I say, I don't give opinions. I give facts. So it's a fact the dollar is worthless. We know it's lost 99% of its value. Go to the grocery store. $50 to put avocados in my cart and some dark chocolate and a few other things. $30, $40. Everything's $3 that you buy. And so I'm explaining to him it's not an opinion. And, I said, have you ever heard of the Roman Empire? No, so I made a comment about something else. I said, have you ever heard of Madoff? So I'm trying to say, what does Bitcoin look like? And he can't answer. Well, it's digital gold. Oh, really? Oh, okay. And what makes it gold? What is it? Show it to me. Well, it's digital. Yeah, it means it's not real. Well, I go, have you ever heard of Madoff? No, I never heard of Madoff. You never heard of Madoff? He got exposed in 2008. It's the biggest Ponzi scheme since $1. The girl who did $1 Bitcoin that she fucked over everybody, that wasn't real. So wait a minute, this one coin and Bankman Friedman did his thing and you still trust it. Okay, that's good. It's still a Ponzi scheme. Oh, I don't know. I never heard of Madoff. Liar. What are you kidding? You never heard? Everybody's heard of Madoff. So he's lying through his teeth and I'm calling him on it right now. I'm just hitting home run. You're lying. So what are you waiting for in these other 500 coins? It's 100,000. Well, why don't you sell it? Well, it's going to go up to 2. Says who? It's not going up to 2. The dollar's worthless. It's going out. Go to the grocery store. Look at BRICS, 40 countries off the dollar. Nobody wants the dollar. It has no value. I said, they'll have to come out with a new dollar, but your Bitcoin is worthless because your Bitcoin's priced in dollars. Well, my opinion. Okay. And then it becomes, and he's vampiring me. He kind of keeps like, I'll say, when are you selling? And he won't answer. And then I'll ask him, do you know how the price goes up and down? Supply and demand. Supply and demand. There's no supply and demand. What are you talking about? It's all fixed. And that's where we got to Madoff. So I keep asking him questions that he can't answer, and he keeps vampiring me. It sounded like my brother. He's a vampire. He's terrible. That's why I don't talk to him. I can't handle vampires. So at the end, I'm leaving, and I said, "Have you? I suppose you've never heard of the Roman Empire. How are they doing?" And I just walked out, and it was like I didn't want to hear an answer, but I wanted to let him know that if you don't think the dollar is worthless, go check out the Romans. And I just went. I don't like to be disrespected, and I don't like to be, well, that's your opinion. No, none of it is my opinion. These are facts. This is what happened, and this is what's going to happen. You cannot, because we understand the details. You cannot print $150 trillion. Oh, he brought up the what is it? The petrodollar. Well, we're the petrodollar. I go, what are you talking about? There's no petrodollar anymore. It was gone. Oh, no, we're still the petrodollar. So if we're the petrodollar, how is China buying oil from Saudi Arabia without dollars? No, Saudi Arabia accepts all dollars. They will still take U.S. dollars, but they'll take any dollar. Petrodollar was only, it had to be U.S. dollar to buy oil. That's not the case anymore. And that doesn't make your dollar strong. It doesn't mean your dollar has value because you need it for oil. Well, if you still printed $150 trillion, they're still worthless. There's no way around it. It's not worthless. Then you got like these Andy Scheckman guys with this M2, M3, M4. It doesn't matter. That's how much has been printed. Sorry, it's worthless. I mean, that's all you can say. With D. And so because we understand the root of it and we understand what makes time travel possible, and we understand that the dollar is worthless because you print it too much. It's not backed by anything. So I tried to explain to him Bitcoin isn't even real. You can't see it or touch it, and it's certainly not backed by anything. Well, it's backed by the dollar. I go, but the dollar's not backed by anything. The dollar's, let's start square one. The dollar's worthless. So if Bitcoin is priced in dollars, where does Bitcoin get its value? It doesn't have any. Not only is it not real, but it's not backed by gold and silver, which is the only thing you can get backed by. So what the hell are you talking about? So I just kind of laughed at the guy going, well, you're going to be broke. And he's trying to tell me he's got $5 million. And I said, you had $5 million. It's not worth anything. And this is the concept that people are really struggling and don't want to, it's like they don't want to hear it. It's sort of like when your girlfriend or wife says, we need to talk. And you know that's trouble. So you don't want to hear it. Well, we'll talk later. Unless you're like me and Alyssa says, well, I wanted to talk to you. And I just started laughing, going, I got Daria. I'm with Daria. I'm not with you. I don't know what you can't hurt me. I'm trying to help you. You're my friend. So there is no, let's stop being friends. It's, so I just laugh when I hear that. I don't need you. I'm stoic. I need me. I don't need you. And so you just laugh at it. But that's kind of what it's like. When you tell people the dollar's worthless, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to admit that their $1 million is worthless. They don't want to hear it. I don't know why. I heard it, and I took my money and turned it into gold. Because that's what you do to survive. It's the smart play. The dollar's worthless because they printed too much. So we know why. The Titanic hit an iceberg. The water's coming in. It's going to sink. We know why. Well, what do? We get off of it. The prudent move is to get off the boat into the lifeboat. And then we survive. The prudent move is to get out of the dollar and into gold. And then we survive. It's the same terminology. It's the same thing. And people don't want to hear or admit that the dollar is worthless. And I'm looking at this guy like I'm not, it's not my opinion. I am telling you what's happening, and I would tell you why, but you know everything. And he's so excited about his Bitcoin, which I don't believe. If you did buy Bitcoin at $700, that's fine. I mean, I don't care that you bought it, but if you have it now, you need to get out of it. But you do what you want to do. I'm telling you what you should do. You can do what you want. So anyway, if you did buy 1,000 coins, he kept calling them shares. I go, it's not a stock. If you have 1,000 and you need to sell them because they're not worth anything. Even if they say 100,000, they're not worth anything because the dollar's not worth anything. I could give you $1 million. That's what it's worth. That's what $1 million is worth. It's not worth $1 million. Go to the grocery store, fill your cart up. It's going to cost you what, $5,000 to fill your cart up with meats and chickens and tuna and fruits and veggies and whatever else you're going to get. That means your dollar isn't worth anything. And nobody wants to say it like that. They just want to say prices are going up. So anyway, this guy I just kind of laughed at, and you don't want my help? That's fine. See, you don't realize you're with the professor in the hot tub. I says, it's a shame you're not open-minded. He says, I am open-minded. I says, no, you're not. If you're open-minded, you'd listen to me. But you don't even know who I am, but you don't even ask. You don't even ask my background. You don't ask anything about me. You know more than I do. And I love that. I just sit there and act stupid and too bad you're not in gold and silver. So you just sit there and he'll get what he deserves. He'll go broke, and he deserves to go broke because I'm giving him the way out, but he doesn't want to listen to me. Don't disrespect me. That's the one thing you can't do. You do that, it's all over for you because I'll kill you. So this is the problem. Then I got on to LinkedIn, and Ford's raising their tariffs. The Ford in Mexico has 3 trucks, and they're going to do a $2,000 price increase on their 3 trucks. And I'm just killing them, going, well, sell your Ford stock. Do you even have a market for it? I mean, you don't even understand what your market is. Can you raise it? In other words, what do I tell you? I tell you about the barbecue place. Can I make ribs $44 for a slab because the price went up? No, your market's $30. You cannot go over $30 on your ribs and expect to have anybody in your restaurant. So by raising it over the market, you have no buyers. So if we carry that to Ford, these 3 models, do they sell? And at what price are you selling them at? You can't just raise your price and expect people to buy it. We're in a depression right now. People aren't working, or if they are, they're not getting paid. They get paid very little, and then they got to use their money on rent and the electricity that's gone up and the food that's gone up. Fortunately, gas is also price fixed, so gas hasn't gone up yet. It's still I can still get it for $2.99. I don't know how and I don't know why, but I'm happy that it is. That I'm happy it is. Gold and silver, I'm not, but I am happy. Gas is still $2.99 for me. I can find it. And that's it. I mean, basically, you're trying to sell a car and you do a $2,000 increase. What are we hoping for there, Ford? That and I'm surprised Trump. I don't get what Trump's doing. I mean, I know what he's trying to do, but it's not going to work. And as I explained yesterday, the trade balance is goods for money. There is no trade balance, imbalance. They sell us $1 trillion worth of goods. We give them $1 trillion worth of dollars. It's even, right? They get money, we get the goods. That doesn't mean we need to sell $1 trillion worth of goods to China. Our costs would be way too expensive. Could we even sell anything in China? And are we going to be able to sell it? Do you think they can afford our stuff and then they're going to buy $1 trillion worth of goods? Is it even possible to sell? Can we compete with China in China? So what are you talking about? We're getting the advantage of their goods are cheaper than our goods. That's what free trade's about. You got to compete with our goods. So we make a car and they make a car and their car is cheaper, or we make a computer and they make a computer. It's probably better. They don't make chargers there. So we make a computer, they make a computer. Theirs sells for $300 less. What are you going to buy? Oh, we'll buy theirs. It works. It's just a different brand. So we can't even compete with China here. So why are we going to compete with them in China? Here we at least have people with money who can afford these things. You don't have anybody in China that can afford it. So this is the big problem, but there is no trade imbalance. They give us goods and services, we give them money. It's even. Do we expect them to give us money? No. You keep giving us our goods because they're cheaper than the goods we make here. And then here's your money, and the trade is zero. You gave us $1 trillion. We gave you $1 trillion in money. It's a wash. That's how the trade balance works. It's not you actually, because we make things at different cost. We could not compete with China because of their labor rate, our labor rate. So it's not even doing that. It's like, so what are you upset that we're not selling $1 trillion to China? That's not even possible. That's why we move a Ford plant and a GM plant and a Apple plant and a Nike plant to China, because we're taking advantage of the cheap labor. So exactly what's going through your mind, Trump and Scott Bassett? What do you guys? Do you have a brain in your head? Do you think we should be getting $1 trillion from China? So all you've done is made China's goods more expensive than our goods. So we will buy our goods instead of theirs when the cost will be 10 times higher. So instead of China selling the computer at $200 and our cost is $500, you're making their cost go up to $500. And you think the tariffs will be good. Oh, wait, we'll get all this money from tariffs. How? You're not going to get anything from tariffs because we're not going to buy you because you're pricing things out of the market. That's the big problem, right? You're pricing it out of the market. We won't buy as much. And, and as our food goes up, and the whole thing's pointless because this has no value. So even if this does that and that does this is still not worth anything. At the end of the day, this is worthless. So you could try to get $10 trillion in tariffs. It's worthless money. You still owe 37 trillion in the debt, military, interest, government employees you have to pay, and their pensions, Social Security, and Medicare, and all the roads and all the other bullshit you get involved with that you shouldn't be involved with. What are we doing here? So we're led by idiot one and idiot two, Trump and Bissett. Bissett's really, this is like his idea. He's clueless. It's almost like George Soros is saying, hey, let's bankrupt the U.S. We'll have these tariffs, which will make things cost more, and we won't be able to buy anything. The one thing we got was China's cheap goods into us. And the trade is we give them dollars. We don't have to give them goods. As I said yesterday, if I sell my Willie Mays card to Bobby for $1,000, it's free trade. He gives me the money, I give him the card. It's a free trade, it's a fair trade. I don't have to sell him. I sell him the card for $1,000. He doesn't have to sell me a card for $1,000. That's not the point. The point isn't I sell him a card for $1,000, he sells me a card for $1,000. No, the point is we trade. He gives me $1,000. I give him a Willie Mays card. That's the trade. It's a free trade. It's a fair trade. We're both happy. I want the money. He wants the card. But it's not about me. It's not about him now selling me a card. The trade was the money. I got his money. He's got the card. We're both happy. That's it. End of story. So I just don't get this whole thing. These are run by idiots who have no business being in charge. This Bissett has not even got a degree in economics. Why is he the Treasury Secretary? Are you insane? Well, he's a George Soros guy. Oh, great. He's a Nazi. And I believe he is a Nazi or was a Nazi. Peter Thiel is a Nazi too. You got to be careful with these guys. So that's what you have. The end of the day, the boat's sinking. At the end of the day, this is worth nothing. This is your primary focus. Don't focus on tariffs. I think they're doing this to get our mind off it. Don't focus on the stock market. Don't focus on Bitcoin. Don't focus on tariffs. Focus on this. This is gone. This is worthless. Gold and silver are your outs. That's the focus. And what they're doing is, it's like in the Roman Empire when they were going broke because they printed the shit out of their dollar and took all the gold and silver out of it. What did they do? They had gladiator games to get people's mind off of the heavy inflation and debasement of their currency by taking the gold and silver out. That's the real term for debasement. They would give you gladiator games. And in these games, they would, your mind would be on that, not that. Well, we kind of have that here with sports and then all these tariffs and all this other shit that keeps your mind away, from gold, from the dollar. They never tell you when gold goes up. They only, gold's down $50 today. Well, it's price fixed, morons. It's because of your options. That's why it's down. It's not down because of less demand or nobody's selling it. And this is the thing. Nobody's selling an ounce of gold. I mean, they might sell an ounce for food, but the big central banks aren't selling. They're not selling a bar. Nobody's selling any gold. They're accumulating as much as they can. They're dumping dollars because they're worthless. So if you just stick with that scope, you're fine. That's it. And this is not an opinion. How the fuck can it be an opinion? They're selling their dollars for gold. That's a fact. China's got 60,000 tons of gold. That's a fact. Russia's got 20,000 tons. So does India and Saudi Arabia. Those are facts. Those aren't opinions. I mean, I don't know exactly that Russia's got 20,000. They might have 20. Who knows how much Putin has in this swimming pool? A lot. Putin's not a stupid guy. He has a bunch of gold. They're coming out with a gold back ruble, so they need a lot of gold. There's a gold back yuan already out for China, dealing with 20 countries, already out. It's already there. So when Luke asked me, when's it coming out? It's out. But you're not going to see news on it here. God forbid we talk about gold, but the dollar's worthless. And the quicker you understand that concept, they printed too much. That's why it's worthless. Then once you understand that fact, the rest is bullshit. Oh, Bitcoin. I don't care what Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin could be at 1 million. It's still times zero because it's priced in dollars. So let's take the dollar goes out. Now what's Bitcoin worth? Oh, what's a Bitcoin? It's not, it's air. This is Bitcoin. It's just air. Can you see it? You can't even see it. It's digital. It's not real. These people are the dumbest people in the world in Bitcoin. It's not, tell me what it looks like. You can't. How can anything that you can't see or touch be worth anything? Are you fucking out of your minds that you think this has a value? And it's priced in dollars, and you're dealing with Larry Fink and the Russian mafia, and you want to trust it. Good luck. Ask what happened to OneCoin. Oh, yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme. I'm sure all these are Ponzi schemes. But I love when I asked the guy about Madoff, and he didn't know. Who's Madoff? I'm like, seriously, you've never heard of Madoff. 2008, he got arrested. Are you out of your fucking mind? You've never heard of Madoff. And I suppose you never heard of the housing crisis in 2008 caused by giving loans to people who had no business getting them. Hey, Prophet, I heard an interesting comment last night. He who has the gold makes the rules. Well, yeah, I mean, we say that a lot here. That's the golden rule. Because it can't be printed. See, people really miss the basic premise. Why does the dollar lose its value in every country it's ever been at that it hasn't been backed by gold? Since the Roman times, Roman Empire, France, England, Amsterdam, Spain. Why does it always lose its value? And we can see it has. These aren't secrets that Spain went out and France went out after Napoleon. And London went out, England, Romans went out. So the basic premise is that's why you hold gold, because you can't print it. I don't understand this counterparty risk. That's bank talk. That's not economics talk. It's simply you can't print gold. And if you can't print gold, you can't lose value. This, you eventually, this is why you can't have big government, because it costs a lot. And therefore, you have to keep printing to pay for everything. You add a Jackie Bauer at 24, what was that? Counter-terrorist unit. Well, you add that, you got to pay everybody. Where are you getting the money from? Then they need money. They need weapons. They need artillery and helicopters and trucks and Chloe and everybody else. You need all that. So that costs. And then they retire. You got to pay their pensions. But the more agencies you have, where do you get the money? And that's why big government kills you, because you print. And the more of this that's not backed by gold that you print, the less it's worth. It's a very simple concept. It happens every single time. In the airport with Luke goes, well, what if maybe you get 10%? And I said, no, it goes to zero. He's like, does it go to 10? I go, no, it goes to zero because it's eventually just worthless. Nobody wants it. That's what makes value. If nobody wants my Canadian club, it has no value. If Prophet wants it because he's Canadian, he says, yeah, I'll give you 50 for it, then it has a value. But who wants the dollar? Does anybody want the dollar? Nobody wants it. They're all running into gold. And that's why they make the rules, because it can't be printed. So it can't lose its value. This just keeps getting printed. You got a $37 trillion debt. You got $1 trillion in interest, which is just a waste of money then you got military, and then you got all the government programs. You have to pay all the people. So you end up with printing, which makes the value 000. So, but nobody wants to hear it. They want to put their head in the sand, like the guy in the hot tub yesterday. I don't want to hear that my money's worthless. I have Bitcoin. He says, well, I have like $3 million because I sold my Bitcoin. And I said, but they're worthless. Dagger to the heart. You have $3 million. It's worth zero. And nobody can wrap their head around that concept. And I'm not doing it to be mean, and it's certainly not my opinion. I'm trying to help, but people don't understand that. They can't understand that that's the problem, right? They can't comprehend that their $1 million is worthless. And that's why I say, go look at the Roman Empire. I'm sure the emperors had millions of dollars and it was all worthless. Nero burned the reason Nero burned the city was because he was burning. They had a bunch of wood. They used wood to make houses and stores and whatever. And the Appian Way, which is now in Vegas. And basically he wanted to replace it with marble. How much did that cost, right? That's why he burnt the city, was to replace the wood with marble. Just so we understand. There was a motive for his craziness. But you can't keep printing it. That's why it goes to zero. So we understand the key. We understand what unlocks the key of the why is the dollar worthless? Because you can't just keep printing it. Then it becomes nobody wants it. Well, when's that going to happen? Now, all the central banks in the world are buying gold, except for the US. They're all buying gold. Czechoslovakia, Poland, Russia, China, all buying gold. What a coincidence. I wonder why. Why is BRICS going to a gold-backed currency? I mean, it's all right there. And again, this is not an opinion. This is facts. They are buying gold. There is BRICS. They got gold-backed currency now, gold-backed stable coins. And we're sitting there with our thumbs up our ass with this and with this, right? Well, we got euro. Yeah, it's paper. It's paper. There were, let's go back to Germany, 1923. They had Reichsmarks. They had plenty of Reichsmarks. Why did it lose value? Why were they wallpapering their house with the Reichsmarks? Why did they lose value? Because they kept printing the shit out of it. So I don't know why people can't grasp the simple concept of and that's why I bring it into eating a chocolate cake every day. I mean, that's like printing, right? I keep printing and printing, and you can't assume nothing happens. You keep eating chocolate cake and you're going to get fat, you're going to get diabetes, and you're going to die. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Sugar will kill you, especially every day. You can have it on Sundays or whatever. So anyway, that's my interview with the vampire in the hot tub. He was a vampire. He would change course. And I'm just laughing. I can't take him seriously. And I'm just laughing at him. I says, but at the end of the day, the money's worthless. And he don't want to hear, well, that's your opinion. No. Like I can't hear this. It can't be real. So it's your opinion, And I don't give opinions. I do not give opinions. Maybe a little in football. Even then, they're pretty much not. It's kind of an opinion, but really it's pretty accurate what I'm giving you. So that's picks. But this is not like football. So that's all I can say is and he kept changing his story. And I asked him a simple question. When are you going to sell your Bitcoin that you can't see and you can't hold and you don't know it's real, but okay. And you don't know who Madoff is. When are you going to sell it? Simple question. Well, I don't know. It's going to keep going up. Oh, really? Nothing keeps going up except for Now, here's where we have our thought process on gold and silver. That will keep going up because you cannot print it, and therefore you can't ruin the supply, and the demand will grow. So the reason we're holding our gold at 3,300 and we have no inclination to sell it this cheaply is because there's more and more people who are going to need to get off the boat. There's a billion people between the Euros and Africa and Asia in the US who are not even thinking of getting off the boat yet. And when they decide that, oh shit, we need to buy gold, we need to get off the boat, then we'll see the price really hit and go high and high and high. So there's no reason to sell our gold and our silver now when all these people are going to realize the Titanic's sinking and they need the lifeboat. And that hasn't happened yet. And that's why I wouldn't sell yet. I don't think I'd sell even when everything happened because it's just the only out. That's why gold rules, because you can't print it. It's beautiful. Everybody wants it. We were talking about Bitcoin yesterday, and the guy says, well, I can use it. I says, you can't. You can't. Can you go on a vacation with it? Can you get a hotel with it? No. Can you go to Kroger's with it? No. So what the fuck? It ain't money. It's a person-to-person transaction. I want to buy drugs, and you have them, and I'll give you a Bitcoin for them. That's what it's for. Or the Russian mafia has their drug money, and they want to launder their money. That's what Bitcoin is. It's a person-to-person thing. It is not money because money would be spent. You could go to Kroger's, or go to a nice dinner, go to a vacation, and use it, and you can't. I can't go to American Airlines and say, I'm going to use Bitcoin. You can't do it. So he cites a few, well, at this restaurant. And I go, no, don't give me that shit. You can't use it anywhere. I can't go to Kroger's and use it. I can't even use it here to pay for my membership at the club. I can't use Bitcoin. So it's not money. To be money, it has to be accepted by everybody, and it's not. And it's not even government. The government's not included, so therefore it's not real. You might as well just look at it as a baseball card, right? Oh, my Joe Montana went up to 100,000. That's right. That's about what it is, right? That's what Bitcoin is. All right, Real D, good morning. How are you today? I am fine. I'm just telling my vampire hot tub interview with a vampire in a hot tub. And I've never seen, my brother was the only one who could compete with this guy where he would change. You could say, well, what time is it? And he'd say, it's Saturday. And then you go, well, what day is it? And he'd go, well, I'm going to mow the lawn. And, it would be, he can't give a direct answer to your question. And this guy couldn't give a direct answer to the question. When are you going to sell your Bitcoin? Well, I'm going to use it, and I don't know. And what do you mean you don't know? You have an investment. If you have 1,000 shares of Apple stock, when are you going to sell it? Maybe the tariffs are slowing you down, and even if it's an indirect thing on Apple, it's still, we have less money to use. Not only is the money not worth anything, but you're using your money on the tariffed items, so you have less money. You're going to buy an iPhone, you're going to buy an Android for $100, which does the same thing. I don't get the iPhone stuff. So that's really the point of it. So we'll have less money to use. All right, let's go to the NBA yesterday, and I'm very proud that I hit my game. I hit my games. All right, so yesterday, have Cleveland. I didn't lock it because I didn't know about the injuries, but they were in a do or die. They're down 2-0. They had to win, and they show up 126-104. We will bet them the next game also. So apparently the injuries are fine. The second game, ooh, this went to overtime. OKC was way up. All right. So Denver now leads the series 2-1. We'll be on OKC in game 4. Denver won. So Denver shows that they're a pretty good team, beating OKC, but at home. And it was 1-1. So now OKC will win on the rebound. So take OKC in the next game and Cleveland in the next game. Tonight, we've got Boston at the Knicks. The Knicks lead 2-0. We just saw this with Cleveland, didn't we? Indy took the first 2 games in Cleveland, and Cleveland had to win, or they go down 3-0 and the series is over, and they kill them. Same thing here. The Knicks won the first 2 in Boston. The back's against the wall. They're laying 6.5. Bet the farm on Boston. They cannot go down 3-0. The fact it's in New York doesn't mean anything. And look for Boston to kick their. They've had 20-point leads and lost them. I don't see that happening here. Look for Boston big, especially covering 6.5. If they lose, they're done. And they're the 2 seed, 61 wins. They're not going to just lose, get swept by the Knicks. Not going to happen. We got Minnesota Golden State. The series is tied at 1. Minnesota came up. Is Steph Curry playing today? If Steph Curry plays today, you got Minnie Lane 5.5 at Golden State. This is a Golden State bet if Steph Curry plays. Because they're coming off the loss. They're at home. They have to win. If he doesn't play, I would take Minnesota. So this is a Steph Curry moment. Definitely jump on Boston very hard. That is your NBA for today. And let's go. What's this about Derek Carr? Saints quarterback Derek Carr retiring after Solar. Oh, he's retiring. And who did they draft? They drafted, was it Tyler Shaw or I don't remember who they drafted. Interesting. I got to do my draft videos. Maybe I'll do that today or tomorrow. No NBA team has ever come back after being down 3-0 in a playoff series. Well, that's why it's critical that Boston wins tonight, right? I don't think teams, it's very rare if you're down 3-0 to come back because why did you get down 3-0? So Boston's going to kill them. They're going to kill them. They're going to just like Cleveland yesterday, right? Cleveland, I had to wait for the injuries, but apparently they played and then they killed them, as I said. OKC did not. There were 1-1, so it wasn't a do or die. They did win game 2. They had to win because they were down 1-0 at home. They couldn't go down 2-0. That's why you can't go down 2-0, as Prophet's saying, because if you go down 3-0, you're fucked. So when it's 1-0, you've got to win because if you lose and now you're down 2-0 and then 3. So that's why a lot when it's 2-0 like Boston and the Knicks today. And Boston knows if they lose, they're down 3-0 and it's all over. They will kick the shit out of the Knicks. Boston wins by at least 20, at least, because they can't afford to lose. They will play strong, and the Knicks will relax. Amazingly enough, the Knicks with a 2-0 lead relax. I do that with football. I have a huge Saturday, and I'm up $5,000. And then here comes Sunday. I relax. I go, well, I just won $5,000 and I'll pick this game and that. You don't mean to, but when I lose, right? Let's say I lost $5,000 on Saturday. I get really focused and I get my money back on Sunday. It's just the way we are when we're up and relaxed. When you've got the girl, you kind of relax with her. When you're trying to get her, you're more intense. You're more focused. You're trying to get her. So it's everything, right? If you're looking for a job or if you have a job, if you're playing poker and you're up 500, it's a totally different mindset than if you're down 500. I know when I'm down, I'm much more aggressive. I lose a couple $100 and now I'm in a lot of pots and I'm betting very aggressively. And when I'm up, I'm much more tentative because I want to stay up. So I'm not as aggressive when I'm up than when I'm down. And so you'll see Boston tonight down be very aggressive and just, to win by 20 is a very conservative estimate. It's like gold going to 5,000. Very conservative about that. All right, let's look at baseball. Well, let's look at yesterday. So we start off with Atlanta, and Pitt wins 3-2. Our bet, Detroit under 7.5 with Scooble on the mound. Texas has 4 guys who are hitting 0 right now, or I think 3. So they got injuries. They brought up one guy's 0 for 9, one guy's 0 for 11. So I bet the game under. That was easy. Washington over 8.5 wasn't what I expected, but St. Louis won 10-0. But it is over 8.5. That's a winner. I have Milwaukee, which loses to Tampa 4-3. I have the Mets over 7.5. They win 7-2. They get 9. That's a winner. Philly over 8.5. How does Philly lose 6-0? Aaron Nolan loses again. He's 1-6 with a 5 ERA. Gavin Williams with the 4.38 ERA shuts out Philly. This is where it becomes really, are you kidding me? Right? How does Philly get shut out? Boston over 9. They lose 2-1 in 12 innings. Okay. Miami over 8.5. The White Sox beat them 6-2. Go figure that one out. I got Houston. Houston wins 3-0. There we go. Hunter Brown 6-1 with the 1.48. That is according to Hoyle. The 49ers over 9, and they lose 3-1. A lot of low-scoring games yesterday. Chris Paddock, a 4.76 against Jordan Hicks, a 5.82. Of course, it's a 3-1 game. Of course, Paddock with his 4.76 ERA allows 1 run to the 49ers. I mean, what are you supposed to do with this? I got a 6 ERA and a 5 ERA, and it's a 3-1 game. It's a mess, right? San Diego, I have, and they win 13-9. Basically, betting against Colorado, who just sucks. Baltimore, California. I have California. Baltimore wins 4-1. That's a loser. The Dodgers over 10. The Dodgers win 14-11. So that was a pretty good bet. Seattle over 7. It goes over 6-3. W. And Oakland over 10. The Yanks win 10-2. That one wins. So overall, pretty good. Detroit under. And we win Houston, we win San Diego, and we lose Miami over and Philly over. So 3-2 on our bets. Hard to understand Philly getting shut out by a pitcher with a 5 ERA. I mean, help me out here. How am I supposed to pick it? But this shows you how difficult it is to pick, how these are all averages, how hard statistics are, which is why I'm against AI and why I'm against algorithms and shit like that, because that's what an algorithm's doing. It's trying to analyze statistics. Well, nobody analyzes statistics better than me, and yet I'm looking at Philly. Philly's got 4 hitters. They had 6, so maybe a couple guys got hurt. They have 4 hitters, and they couldn't score a run on a pitcher with a 5 ERA. What are you going to – that's where the matchup is. So if I was really serious and intent with the baseball, I would mark down Philly against this pitcher. They're in trouble. And I don't know if he was righty or lefty. But I don't have the time or patience to look at every pitcher against every team. But that's how I would do it. It's all about matchups. Can Philly hit this pitcher? And that's really what you're looking at. But then you got the pitcher only going 5 or 6 innings. And now here comes the bullpen. How good's the bullpen? Will the bullpen do that? I'm beginning to think these Tiger games are fixed. I'm watching the games, and the guy throws a strike right down the middle, and the ump's calling it a ball. And I'm going, that was right down the middle. What do you mean it's a ball? You got the little white square and it's right in there. What do you mean it's a ball? How can it be a ball? The pitch was right over the plate. What the hell are you doing? So anyway, that was yesterday. Today is another day. All right, May 10th. Tomorrow's Jenna's birthday. I haven't talked to her since October. I think I will wish her a happy birthday. I don't hate Jenna. I just didn't like being disrespected by her. Although she didn't wish me a happy birthday. And I usually, if you don't wish me one, I don't wish you one because mine's in March, but we will see. I wish Daria a happy Victory Day. It was Russian Victory Day for victory in World War II, beating Hitler. That was yesterday. So they had a parade. Who knows? I doubt she went to it. I doubt she cares about it. But all right, Atlanta at Pittsburgh. Atlanta minus 150-9. Pittsburgh does not hit very well to get 9 runs. AJ Sawyer 2-2 with a 3.0 against Andrew Heaney 2-3 with a 3.18. So we got to go to the batting for this. Atlanta 5 hitters and Pitt 3 hitters. Atlanta's been playing well. I'm shocked Pitt beat them yesterday. Atlanta's at 159. I'm going to take Atlanta here. I don't trust Pitt. Pitt's got 3 hitters. I don't. The over under is 9. I really can't trust it. I just think Atlanta's a better team. It's at Pitt. I really don't know. This is not a game I'd be betting. Cardinals in Washington. St. Louis killed them yesterday. And why do I look at that? Because I believe in streaks. I believe all betting is streaks. I believe we all have streaks. And so with this in mind, St. Louis beat them, that they're hot and that should continue. Now, I understand baseball, every game's separate because of the pitching. So we will see. Andre Palante, 2-2 with the 4.75. Trevor Williams, 2-3 with the 5.86. 2 bad pitchers, total of 9.5. So we're going to go Washington over 9.5. Let's see what we got. We got St. Louis with 5 hitters and Washington with 4 hitters. So yeah, this should get over. So let's play it for 2 units. The Yanks in Oakland. The Yanks killed them yesterday, I believe, 10-2. New York minus 150-10. Oakland's not bad. They're 20-19. Carlos Rodon 4-3 with the 2.96, and JP Sears 4-2 with the 2.93. And the total is 10. So you ask, why would the total be 10 with these 2 pitchers? Carlos Rodon has been pitching pretty bad. So he had a bad outing against Detroit. So basically, early he gave up 4 runs to Arizona, 6 to Detroit, 4 to San Francisco. Then he had a shutout against Tampa. Gave up 1 run to Cleveland, 2 to Baltimore, and a shutout to San Diego, pitching 6 and 7 innings. So the last 4 games, he's given up 3 runs in 6, 12, 25 innings. Not too bad. The first 4 games he was pathetic. So I think he's found it. So he is better, which then allows me to go under in this game. So I'm taking the New York Yanks under 10. I think 10 is too big of a number here. It's just too big of a number with a 2.93 and a 2.96 ERAs. Where are you finding 10 runs? So the Yankees 4 hitters and Oakland with 5 hitters. Oakland can hit, but they're not going to hit a 2.96 ERA, whose last 4 games have been red hot. So again, I'm looking at the streaks. If you just look at the total, his first 4 games were terrible. His last 4 were good. So I can look at his last 4 instead of the whole picture because he's getting better. Milwaukee and Tampa. Tampa 125, 9.5. Tobias Myers 1-0 with a 3.65 from Milwaukee. Taj Bradley 3-2 with the 4.43. Pretty high. I think Milwaukee hits pretty nice. 7 hitters. Tampa has 1 hitter. So Milwaukee, better pitcher, better hitting. Let's go Milwaukee here. All right. Texas and Detroit. Texas is favored 105, 7.5. Jacob DeGrom, 2-1 with the 2.61, and Jack Flaherty with a 1-4 at the 3.79. I'm going to go under in this game. Texas under 7.5, 2 units. Detroit, they hit a lot against Oakland or against Colorado, who didn't have major league pitching. But that's not the case today. They're facing major league pitching in DeGrom, who apparently is on. They're not going to hit him. Flaherty 1-4 at the 3.79. So Texas is not hitting. I don't know. Texas has 5 hitters. No, they got 3 new ones. So here's where the injuries change. So they got 2 hitters. They're not going to hit Flaherty, but he's not that good. 1-4 at the 3.79. But DeGrom's pitching, and DeGrom can shut him out. I wouldn't think Detroit would score too much here. We're looking at a 2-1 game. So we're going under. We don't have enough hitting to take Texas, but we got pitching to bet it under. Philly, Cleveland. All right, Philly, you're going to get shut out again. Rangers, Suarez, 0-0 with the 17 ERA. And Tanner Bibby, 3-2 with the 4.26. So what do we do with Philly? They got shut out yesterday. They got a pitcher with the 17 ERA who was really good last year. Not this year. Bibby with the 4. We got to go over. We'll go Cleveland over 7.5. Is Philly really going to get shut out 2 days in a row? I don't know, but the streak says they're not hitting. You got to respect the streak, but it's 7.5. Cleveland should hit Suarez with the 17 ERA, and Bibby's still got a 4.26 ERA. Philly should get some runs. I'd be shocked. This pitcher's not. If they were facing a good pitcher, I would bet against Philly, but not this guy. Cincinnati, Houston, an AFC Central game. Earl Campbell. Houston minus 135.8. Brady Singer 4-2 with the 3.66 against Lance McCuller 0-0-0 with the 0-0-0. So he hasn't pitched. Singer, Houston's favored. Now, how are they favored for a pitcher who hasn't pitched yet? 135. I mean, how do you bet this game? Give them 5 innings, and then here come the bullpen. Singer. What's going on with Houston and Cincy? Cincy 5 hitters, and Houston 6. All right, we got to go over here. Houston over 8. Boston and KC. We had Boston over 9. It didn't get over. It was a low-scoring game yesterday. Garrett Croquet, 3-2 with the 2.02. Cole Reagan's 2-1, 3.79. I'm going under. KC under 7. No bet. Miami and the White Sox. The White Sox actually won. So Miami's worse than the White Sox. Unbelievable. Miami's only 14-23, and the White Sox are 11-20. It's not in baseball is not the worst team always loses, like in football, right? You got a team that's won one or two games, like Tennessee, like Indy. Yeah, you're going to beat them all the time. The only thing is they all play each other. The whole division's so bad. But in this case, Miami's 110-8. Edward Cabrera, 0-1 with a 6.29 against Shane Smith. What do you do in this game? We know the White Sox can't hit. They got a 241 pitcher, so they should keep the score down. But Cabrera with the 6.29, I got to go with the White Sox. I know they can't hit, but neither can Miami. The Cubs and the Yankees, good game. We are in the Mets. We had the Mets over, I believe. Yeah, we had the Mets over 7.5. That was an easy winner. Mets minus 158.5. Brad Keller 0-0 with the 3.78 against Tyler McGill, 2-2 with a 2.50 for the METS. Mets are 158.5. We know Chicago can hit. I'm going to go with the Mets. And it's hard because the Cubs are a good team. That's why in games like this, I try to go with the totals, but I'm going to stay with the Mets here. Because I don't know what I'm going to get. The Mets, 6 hitters, the Cubs with 7. I should get an over, but with Miguel on the mound with the 2.50, I can't go over with that. 49ers and the Vikings, another good NFL game. 49ers 105.7. Logan Webb 4-2 with the 2.61 against Joe Ryan 2-2 with the 2.93. Probably under. Let's see, Minnesota 5 hitters, and the Niners have 3 hitters. Well, yeah, this looks like an under, but I don't like the 7, so I'm going to go under. But I really don't like it, just because it's 7 instead of 9 or something. The Dodgers, Arizona, we hit this one. We had it over 10.5. It was a 25-run game. The Dodgers minus 129.5. Dustin May 1-2 with the 4.36. Corbin Burns 1-1 with the 3.58. We'll go over again. LA over 9.5. 2 units. San Diego, Colorado. I mean, it's just, do I even have to look? San Diego is minus 220 and 12. Stephen Kolek 1-0 with an 0-0 against. I'm just going to go San Diego, and we'll go 3 units. And Baltimore and California. California won yesterday. Baltimore minus 140 and 10. Kyle Gibson 0-1 with a 14.09 against Jack Kakanowitz. This is the guy who faced the Tigers and couldn't throw a strike. This is probably the worst pitcher in the league, but Kyle Gibson's isn't. So we got to go over. Over 10. We'll go 2 units on it. Even though California can't hit, 2 hitters. They're not a big hitting team, but Kyle Gibson's terrible, but their pitcher's even worse. And Toronto and Seattle. Seattle minus 135, 8.5. Seattle over 7-1 yesterday. Bowden Francis 2-5 with a 5.66 against Logan Evans. Well, we're going over again. Seattle over 8.5, and we'll make this 2 units. And that be baseball. So let's take a look at it. So, baseball, we got Atlanta. We got Washington over, I believe that's 9.5. The Yankees under 10. Milwaukee, Texas under 7.5. Cleveland under 7.5. Houston over 8. KC under 7. The White Sox, the Mets, San Francisco under 7. The Dodgers over 9.5. San Diego, California, and Seattle over 8.5. The bets are Washington over 9.5, the Yankees under 10.5, under 10, Texas under 7.5, the Dodgers over 9.5, San Diego, because they're playing Colorado, 3 units, and Seattle over 8.5 for 2 units. So there's a lot of games. It's just, we're just trying to figure it out. It's very difficult because of the averages. If we really were betting this, I would probably have 1 or 2 bets a day when the matchups are San Diego today, maybe the Dodgers, where you have the 2 terrible pitchers and the good hitting team, and I would just bet that every time, and hopefully that would win. NBA, lock, Boston, lay 6.5. They can't go down 3-0. Anything in the NFL, let's see. So Derek Carr retires due to shoulder injuries that requires they're still making a big deal about Prime Jr. Throws his first pass at Browns rookie mini. Who gives a fuck? Too much of this idiot. And he's not good anyway. Nick Chubb returning to Browns, increasingly unlikely. Oh, so then why do you say he's returning? Say he's not returning. CeeDee Lamb might be biggest beneficiary of the Cowboys trade for the guy from Pittsburgh. George Pickens acknowledges questions about his maturity. Carolina released pass rusher Javion Clowney. He was never very good. He made the big hit against Michigan in that playoff game, but he was never a number 1. He was never very good. Derek Carr gives up $30 million to retire. Well, I'm sure he's got millions. I mean, they did pay him. 49ers believe Mac Jones is still capable of beating a starter. Oh, do you not watch Mac Jones? He's terrible. Jim Harbaugh taking a new approach to evaluating, and he is clueless. Steelers are only NFL team entering 20 without their top quarterback, I believe this is going to say. Without their top quarterback, running back, and wide receiver from 2024. Well, that's meaningless. They got DK Metcalf, so. And their top running back they replaced. And their top quarterback, they lost Russell Wilson. They picked up Howard, and then if they get Rodgers. Quinners over his draft fail. I have the same opportunity. You're a loser, Quinn. Jalen Smith participating in Raiders rookie minicamp. Falcons signed first rounder Jalen Walker from Georgia. Bill Belichick had a PR expert, Brandon Favre, present. So his girlfriend's trying to run North Carolina, I guess. Giants Jackson Dart focus on competing. Well, he's terrible. If they have to play him, they're in big trouble. All right, that's that. Profit. It will be interesting to see what quarterbacks the Browns end up keeping. Well, they should start Dylan Gabriel. They should not keep Prime Jr., but they probably will, which is a mistake. And they'll keep Joe Flacco because he can play. I don't know who the other ones are, but they're all terrible. They have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. Well, that's okay, but your best one's Dylan Gabriel, and if Prime sees the field, you're in big trouble. We'll be betting heavily against Prime. He won't be able to read the defense. He'll run around and get sacked, throw some interceptions. And then everybody can blame somebody else. Oh, yeah, it's the offensive line. We need to get him 5 more receivers. Well, no, he's not out with the ACL. He's out with he did his Achilles. He ruptured his Achilles tendon. That's what he's out with. He did that in the offseason. So he's done. They're not. And this is why you don't offer a guaranteed contract. If I'm a football player and you guarantee me $200 million, I'm sitting on a beach earning 20%. I am not caring or trying. You've taken my incentive away, right? I mean, that's just it. And people, I think this is the biggest problem with Bitcoin and the dollar. They don't realize it's worthless, so they are relaxing, thinking I got $1 million in Bitcoin, and I don't know what it is, but I don't care, and I'm worth it. But I won't sell it because it'll keep going up. Little do they know their money is worthless, but they are relaxed because, oh, I got $1 million. So they don't want to hear it's worthless, but they got it, and it makes them a different person. They're more relaxed, they're more comfortable because they're set. And that's the problem. When you give me 20 million, I'll relax. I'll still do this because I'm not doing this for money, but football, yes, but not this. And that's it. But that's the point of it. So you start overpaying these people. Deshaun Watson ruptures his Achilles. They say the guy hasn't played 5 minutes, and when he played, he sucked. So he's gone. I think it's Flacco and it's Winston on the team, or I don't know all 5 of them, but they're not good. Well, they can't cut him because he's got guaranteed money, but they're not playing him because he's injured. So he's just there collecting money on the injured list. Now, I don't know. I think they have insurance for injuries, right? So I would think the insurance is paying them. But still, he's getting his contract. So I don't know who Cleveland's quarterbacks are, but I will tell you the best one's Dylan Gabriel. They might start Joe Flacco because he's got experience, which I probably would start in the first 3 or 4 games. You don't want to throw Gabriel out there right away. But if you go to Prime Junior, then you don't, then your owner's getting involved to sell tickets and not win. And then I bet heavily against Cleveland. Now this isn't the movie where they get Bo Diddley or whoever. Bo Callahan. Flacco should start for sure and then bring in Gabriel. Well, give Gabriel, let him look Penix last year. He should have started right away. He didn't. Kirk Cousins, and it took him. Why did you think Kirk Cousins could play? This is what blows my mind. Why do you think Daniel Jones can play? You saw him for 5 years at New York suck. Why do you think Kirk Cousins can play? You've seen him for 5 years at Minnesota. He sucks. I don't really understand it. What do you need to see until you can make your determination the guy sucks? Now, maybe I can just, because I'm powerful, can see things like that most people can't. I don't know. But I'll tell you, Prime Junior sucks. And I'll tell you that Dylan Gabriel does not suck. See, but I look at how they played in big games, and he played very well. He beat Ohio State in that first game at Oregon. Was it 32-31, something like that? There you go. He looked very good. He killed Michigan, and Ohio State didn't. So I really don't know. He's as sharp. He sees the guys open. He hits them right in the numbers. He can run a little bit. I don't know what your problem is. Somebody said Bo Nix is 30 years old. I don't think he's 30 years old. Let's check this out. Bo Nix, age. He's 25 years old. So why are they calling him 30? What a bunch of losers. Anyway, do I have any videos to show? I don't think so. See, it's hard to watch alligator. This is a new one that just came. Gold will make you a millionaire. Well, he just had one that said silver will make you a millionaire. Problem is he really doesn't know, and he says the same thing in every video. Something massive is coming for gold. So, well, we already know this. Tell me something new. Don't tell me your opinion. And we know what it is, the dollar going out, and we know all the central banks are buying gold and silver. So I don't need to watch and waste 21 minutes on an alligator telling me not even really sure of what he's saying because he's not an economist. Now he's trying to say he's an economist. He's a liar because he's not. He's a banker, and bankers are not economists. Don't watch Mark McGuire. Andy Scheckman was on, and all he does is he kind of says, well, this should happen and that should happen. It's a waste of time because it's not anything new and he doesn't teach you anything. Let's see. Oh, I saw it today. So all the fast foods are going out because you can't charge $10 for a hamburger. Nobody's going to. No, you don't go to McDonald's for a $20 bill to feed your family of four. When I can go to Coney Island and basically for $25 feed my family of four. So yes, going out to eat is getting more and more expensive. So people are doing what I've been doing for years, which is going to the grocery store, buying meats, buying chicken, and cooking them. It's healthier, it tastes better, and it's far cheaper. I just made 5 hamburgers. It was 2 pounds at $5 a pound was $10. I made 5 hamburgers, which would cost me $35 at McDonald's. I got them for 10. I made them better. They were real meat, seasoned properly, and so why would I go to McDonald's? So what they're doing is they're coming out with chicken, right? So they're having not instead of hamburgers, but including with the hamburgers are chicken sandwiches and chicken tenders and stuff like that, which is not entirely new, but that's because chicken's cheaper. And again, McDonald's is clueless. Here's what happens in the economy. If you start making things, you can't, because your costs go up, just raise prices. That's why you go out of business, because the market is here and you're pricing it here. So McDonald's, you can sell a hamburger for $5. You better keep a family of four under 20. And if you raise your price and now it's 30, you're not going to have any. There's nobody. You don't have a market up here at McDonald's. You can't sell $7 hamburgers and $4 for your fries or whatever you charge. I don't know. I don't go there. You can't do it because now you're competing with. I go to Chinese on Saturdays and I get General Chow where they fill the freaking thing with chicken and broccoli, and it's $15. I get 2 meals out of it for 15. Plus, I add an egg roll. You can't. I go to McDonald's and pay 20 for that shit versus the General Chow, lightly breaded and everything else. So it's just much better. So you can't compete with the Conies and you can't compete with the Chinese. And that's really the problem, right? So at you used to be $1 for a hamburger and 30 cents for fries, and it would be a $5 meal. Now it's a $25 meal. You cannot charge 25. You're fast food, and you're not good. And who knows what's in your meat? And you fry your stuff that's killing everybody. So they've gone to chicken because it's cheaper than meat, and they can still charge. They can probably charge a little less. I don't know. I will not eat at a McDonald's. Or I used to eat at Wendy's a little bit just to get their doubles, but I really, and then I could get chili. So that's why I ate at Wendy's. But I haven't been to Wendy's in 4 or 5 years since I've been doing my kind of diet, my health change. I don't eat fast food. I go and cook it. And like the only restaurant I go to the barbecue, and I go because it's protein, right? I'm eating meat, or I go to Chinese where I'm getting chicken. And that's it. I don't really go to Coney Island once in a while, and I'm getting a burger, and I take the bun off, and I get a chili, which is fairly good. Although I don't know how much salt's in the chili. That's the problem with the chili. But that's once in a while. I'm just tired. It's after swim, and I'm hungry, and I don't want to cook. That's why, like this weekend, I pulled out a chicken, uh, and I'll cook it probably tomorrow, and I'll have chicken for the next 3 or 4 days because I don't want to cook every day. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I go to after this I might have a piece of chicken, and I go to swim, and I just want to heat up some chicken or put it in my omelets or something. And that's the thing with the omelets. They're very, very healthy. You can't even go to Coney Island and get an omelet anymore because who knows? They're not using olive oil, that's for sure. Who knows what they're using? And then the hash browns are, in vegetable oil. And this is the problem with the restaurants. Most of this shit is in vegetable oil, which is terrible, and deep fried or fried. And then so if you go to get an omelet at a Coney Island, not only is it now $10, I'm sure they cut out part of it, but then the hash browns are probably deep fried, and then you get toast, which you don't want any of that. You don't want the hash browns. You don't want the toast. $10 for an omelet. Okay, I can get a dozen eggs for $4.80, right? And I can make a 3-egg omelet. $4.80 divided by 4 for $1. You want to charge me 10, and mine's in olive oil with my seasonings, my cayenne pepper, and my Celtic salt, and I'm making it my way, and I'm putting in like chunks of broccoli and peppers and mushrooms versus the way, and I'm eating a whole broccoli in mine. You got little dabs, and you want to charge $10. This is the problem. You can't compete with me making it at home. So I don't mind cooking. That it's the people that don't want to cook that want that, and those are the Bitcoiners who have, I bought 100 coins at $2, and now they're all worth 100,000 because I'm too stupid to take profit. And that's my biggest pet peeve with the Bitcoiners. They don't understand taking profit. Gold's different, as we know. It's going to keep running and running and running because of all the dollars. So there's no reason to take your profit now, because where are you going to go? Right? If I sell my Bitcoin, I can go into gold. I can't sell my gold and go anywhere. So I got to hold the gold. Profit, you're making me hungry. I do what I can. Why do the Vikings think McCarthy can start? They liked Kirk Cousins, didn't they? I have no idea. He wasn't very good at Michigan. I don't know why. He can, I guess he scrambles a little bit. So again, they're going to the mobile quarterback who never works. You need a quarterback who can throw, and he can't. So I don't know. Whoever's running like I said, they thought Kirk Cousins was good, and they wasted time with him. So I don't really know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'll bet heavily against Minnesota with McCarthy, and they'll realize he sucks, and they're just going to do what they did with Kirk Cousins. They just keep playing him for 5 years, doing pretty good in the regular season and losing in the like last year. Sam Darnold's much better than McCarthy, and he's not that good. I would not have gotten rid of Sam Darnold until you knew if McCarthy was good. And how do you know if McCarthy's good? You haven't seen him in a game. If you watched him in Michigan, he was lousy. All he did was hand the ball off. So the only thing he's got going for him is they beat Ohio State when he was the quarterback. But it wasn't because of him. It was because of the defense, and they ran the ball. So I don't really know. I don't see that the guy can do anything but hand off and short little passes. Can he hit Jefferson? I doubt it. Maybe in the mini camps he can throw the ball to Jefferson. I don't know, but again, it's not in a game. It's just like these tryouts when the guys are in t-shirts and shorts. It's meaningless because the end of the day, it's you got Max Crosby coming at your ass, and you're going to panic, and that's the key: is how do you react when Max Crosby is about to tackle you? That's the point. That's what Caleb can't do, and that's what none of these guys who are shitty can do. Mahomes can do it. Burrow can do it. They can face Crosby and kind of juke him and still throw the ball, but not McCarthy and not Sam Darnold that panics. And that's the chess when they're under pressure. That's why you need a good running back. That's the one. That's why Philadelphia won the Super Bowl, was because of Barkley, not because of Hurts. And that's why Daniels was able to do it. He was able to dodge and run, and he was able to avoid the rush. That's why he's so good, and Penix is like that, and Bo Nix. That's why they're so good. They can, you don't want to run. You just want to kind of move around like Brady, kind of move around in the pocket and throw. That's what you're looking to do. That's the quarterbacks you want. You don't want the runner. How many playoff games has Lamar won? Oh, yeah, none. Oh, yeah, he beat Houston. Come on. C.J. Stroud's the same way. He's nothing. People think he scrambled around, rolls out, and throws up a miracle to a guy that's open, and he's going to start getting picked because they're going to wait for it. They're going to go, he runs to the right. So Joey, you stand over there. When the receiver runs, you're going to come over and cut in front of him. And they'll start throwing interceptions on that bullshit. Caleb, he can't handle the pressure, the rush. I don't care who the coach is. He's not going to do anything, and neither will, I doubt McCarthy will. Drake May's nothing. He's a runner, but okay, they'll start figuring that out. And everybody plays this stupid zone defense because they're scared of the running quarterback, right? Because if everybody turns away, then he can run. Well, the best way to do it is play man on man, but blitz 6 guys and play man to man, and the quarterback won't be able to run, will he? That's how you defeat it. But most of these coordinators are idiots. Again, they're looking at, well, if we hold them and we keep everything in front of us, we'll leave the field goals. Well, why don't you just blitz them and sack them and get them the fuck out and then get the ball back? So it's really hard. Let's see. The Japanese car companies, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, are in trouble because they import their goods from Japan, and with these tariffs, their costs just went up. They are in the U.S. with the plants employing hundreds of thousands of people. What are you doing, Trump? So now you're forcing so you want everything in the U.S. and then you're forcing the companies who are in the U.S. out. Well, no, they should, build a plant here, build a steel plant here. Well, they don't want, they're Japan companies. They're German companies. They want to be here, but not, you can't move everything here. They're in Germany and Japan. Funny, we beat them in World War II, and then the next thing you know, they're making all this money with car companies. So anyway, that's what you have. China's $18 trillion collapse, Evergrande, and then there was another housing company. And what happens is in China, you don't buy stocks, you don't buy Bitcoin, you can't buy Bitcoin. They're all buying gold, and they're all in real estate. And the real estates are just Ponzi schemes. You give the money up front to build me a house or a condo, and they don't build it. And so you go to live in it, there's nothing there. And then it's too expensive and you lose your money. And you can't sell it because it's not even built. The outside's built, but not the inside. They're like these high-rise condos. And then they all collapse because they didn't make them. So what a bunch of scams there. This is why communism doesn't work. And this is what's so beautiful about the US and capitalism. Capitalism, I can't fuck you over because I got to make you a nice house, and then I can make, then everybody knows I'm good quality and I make more houses. That's the way capitalism works, right? You can trust me, and then you come and you tell two friends. But in China, the guys don't make Evergrande didn't make the houses. So they sold them all, but didn't make any of them. And then this other Evergrande 2, whatever the company that is, they didn't make houses. So you get all these stupid Chinese people buying houses because it's a thing with the marriage, right? Women are looking for guys who have a house. So it's a marital thing that you have to have a house. Don't ask me. I don't know. In India, it's gold, right? So this is the problem. But they made off to everybody with these houses that weren't real, and they took all the money. People don't have a house, so they're all broke now. Because at least if you had the house, you could sell it. But it's nothing. So they can't sell it. They don't have anything, and these Evergrandes just, they're all broke. They probably took the money, ran to America or something, or ran to Hong Kong or Taiwan or whatever. And so that's a big problem. 18 trillion collapse. I showed you the truth about women yesterday. It was a long one, and it was, again, the key with women is to be their friends. I quote Natasha. So Jenna's got a friend, Natasha. She tells everything. I'm sure she tells everything about me to her. And your goal is to be Natasha, right? Your girl has to open up to you, and you need to open up to her. Alyssa was over last week, 2 weeks ago, before she did her whatever the fuck she's doing. And she said, "What are you looking at on your phone?" And I says, "I'm looking at baseball stats." Well, she didn't believe me. So she goes to my phone and she opens it up, and I was looking at baseball stats. And I'm like, "Why are you looking at my phone? What is it? You're not trusting of me. Like, I don't get what it is. Why you're looking at my phone? What is it that you're getting jealous of? What? We're not dating." Like, I was like, "We're not even dating. Well, like, what are you doing?" So, like, she's going back with her ex, and I'm like, "You're out of your fucking mind, man. We're just friends. That's it. I'm with Daria, and she knows that. So I didn't understand, why do you have the need to look at my phone? But Jenna did the same thing. She saw me texting to Daria on WhatsApp, and she says, "So who's Daria?" "A friend of mine, just like you're a friend of mine." Like, it's just funny the way women are so possessive, and if you're dating them, you can't talk to anybody else. And I say, fuck off. I'll talk to whoever I want to talk. If you don't like it, goodbye. I'm not going to play the game of, oh my God, I can't talk to another girl, or, that's the problem. Then it becomes a secret. Oh, she's out of the room. I can text Daria, and, I'm not going to play that game. So I think that's just stupid. So if she's not going to talk to me, it's not my loss. It's your loss. So you do what you want. I don't care. It's not my loss, because you never had me to lose me. So I don't care. But that's that's the key to women, is there's got to be that trust, and you've got to be the person they talk to, and she's got to be the person you talk to, and you've got to open that up, and there has to be trust for that. That's why most friendships, relationships, marriages end of the trust issue. Let me check your phone. They're always worried you're talking to somebody else. So fuck off. That's why is that a concern? If I married you, I married you. Or if I'm dating you, I'm dating you. Why is that a concern? So I don't know. I think it's stupid. But that's just the way women are. They're very immature, insecure, and very emotional, and we're more calculating. I'm analyzing statistics. That's how my mind works. I don't care if I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be with you. Like Carmen, she kept wanting money and said, "Fuck off," and I'm not with Carmen anymore. So you just move on. It's like I don't need you. I don't need anybody. I just need me. And then you still want your girlfriends, but I'm saying I don't. My life is in dependency that Alyssa isn't going to talk to me. Fine, don't talk to me, and I'll go into WhatsApp and talk to Daria and Jenna and whoever else. So I mean, that's really what it's about. And it's really stupid. But they're just very immature. But you've got to get to the point where they're talking to you, where there's freedom. They need to feel safe that they can say anything and show you everything and that you're fine with it. Like, oh, I smoke. I'm an alcoholic. Oh, okay. Well, that's once they tell you that, and you go, I don't care. That's fine. So you like to drink? Who cares? And they make a big deal like you won't want them, but no, it doesn't matter. You don't care about that stuff. That's what you want to do it. You don't tell them what to do, and they shouldn't tell you what to do. But that's how the relationship works. Um, Darius told me stuff like that, and I said, "That's fine. I don't care. I'm not going anywhere because that's not why I'm with you. Is if you do that or this, whatever it is you do, I don't. It doesn't bother me. That's up to you." So it's the control freak that you get. The girl wants to, you can't talk to her. You can't, what are you on the phone? What are you doing on the phone? A lot of the times I'm checking gold and stocks and in my email, and I'm checking mostly sports. I'm looking at the football games and looking at the things and analyzing. That's what I mostly do. It's not like I'm talking to other girls. I'm more or less, the amount of time I talk to Daria is like maybe 10 minutes a day. How you doing? Have a nice day. When are we meeting? Da, 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 da. And then I take my picture here. That's just something I do and say, look, I'm teaching class. Um, they like to know what you're up to, and they tell you what they're up to. And that's the relationship. But they're so worried about you with somebody else. Why? I mean, first of all, it's only sex. Sex to me is like golf. And I'm playing golf. I'm playing sex. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean much unless it's your wife or your girlfriend, then it's different. But yeah, it's all it is. Um, so I don't know. It's just women, but that's what's going on with that. It's just they're very emotional, and you've got to get them where they feel safe with you. Once you got them where they feel safe that they can tell you things, you do not argue with them. You do not start fights. You just go along with it, right? You just, okay, that's fine. Like people with Bitcoin. I go, well, you're going to lose all your money, but you do what you got to do. We're all buying gold here. Okay. So there's nothing I can do. I can't tell you to get off of Bitcoin. I can warn you that the dollar's collapsing, and that's a fact. That's not an opinion. And you can do whatever it is you want to do. You'll go broke and we'll have money. But that's the same thing with women. You do what you want to do. You want to smoke or drink or whatever you want to do, go ahead. I'm not going to. I'm not a smoker and I'm not a drinker. So go do it. I'm going to go to the pool and I'm going to go watch my football and teach my classes. Anyway. So that's what's going on. So, any questions or comments from the boys? Again, let's look at basketball. Huge bet on Boston today. Um, little, but Denver, I don't know who's today, Denver or the other, but the big bet's Boston. They have to win. They go down 3-0. It's all over. Baseball, Washington over 9.5. The Yankees under 10. Texas under 7.5. The Dodgers over 9.5. San Diego and Seattle over 8.5 are your bets. There's 6. And that's about it. It's Saturday. It's 1 o'clock, May 10th. Let's go enjoy. I'm going to go to the pool later. Chinese, I think. I might not get General Chow, but they give you so much chicken, it's hard not to get General Chow. So we will see. Anyway, enjoy your weekend, your Saturday. And questions, comments, go to www.teaserking.com. Get my email if you want to email me. Profit, let me know what's going on with your gold. I hope everything works out. And that's about it. So have a wonderful day. www.teaserking.com. Enjoy your day. Most important.